Good morning, everyone. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a podcast brought to you by Joy's House. We are so blessed and thrilled that you're here. Caregiver Crossing is a podcast created just for you, the caregiver, and I am your host, Tina McIntosh. We are here weekly with experts across the country to provide comfort and resources and, of course, joy to our caregivers. This podcast serves to embrace family caregivers of today and tomorrow, and we're so glad that you're here. I'm also really glad that we're talking today with Jim Morgan. Jim is the Vice President of Sales at RE/MAX Ability Plus and the Director of Outreach for Caring Transitions, as well as with Life's Copilot. I've known Jim for a long time. He has a lot going on, but he also has a huge passion for serving the community and our seniors. So we're going to talk with him specifically about Life's Copilot, primarily because Jim was instrumental in a partnership between Life's Copilot and Joy's House, and he's doing some great work. So first of all, good morning to you, my friend.
Well, hi, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing great, and we're glad you're here. I know Life's Copilot, you're starting to get some momentum with that and some buzz. And can you just pretend I'm 5 and tell me what Life's Copilot is?
Well, Life's Copilot, in my mind, is a portal, a place where it's something that I wanted when I was dealing with all these questions myself, dealing with my in-laws, my parents, my uncle, a senior portal where I can learn everything I need to know about seniors safely without getting bombarded with sales calls, where I can go in and learn, see stuff about all the different questions I have answered, watch videos, and then additionally be able to kind of troll and look in and look at other different, senior professional companies and try to learn about them before I engage with them. So that's really what it is. It's a place to quit like being and feeling your way through the dark in the senior world.
So basically it's a dating service for caregivers and professionals.
Kind of, yeah, exactly.
No, and I don't
know if we have a swipe right or left yet, but yeah.
And I shouldn't say it like that. I'm half joking, but it really, it is. You get to go in, you get to look around and say, okay, here are the services or the organizations who have invested that I can work with that can help me in this journey of caregiving, right?
Well, and part of it is I know myself. For me personally, I was, 15 plus years dealing with family members in the senior world, feeling like I was feeling my way through the dark, finding out about services after I didn't need them anymore. But I'm going, oh my gosh, where were you when I needed you? Yeah. And people just, we in the industry, I got into the industry about a year and a half. The first time we met was on Caregiver Crossing, talking about caring transitions about a year and a half ago. In that year and a half, it's been a big learning curve for me because I thought I knew a lot about it. I get over in the senior world and I found I knew nothing. Okay. And all these resources were available, but who knew they were there? And so, a good example, I'm thrilled that Life's Copilot has Sequoia on there. Okay. And the reason being, my wife was told about Sequoia for her mom. So she went to the Sequoia office in the hospital and she tried to call them, try to meet with them. There was never anyone there. No one returned the calls. She sat one day 8 hours in front of it, and no one showed up. And she just gave up on Sequoia. She didn't know what it was. Well, now you can go in Life's Copilot, get to the main headquarters and find out what's going on. Those kind of things. We thought we knew, but we didn't know anything. So,
And knowing, for those of us who are in, greater Indianapolis, Sequoia is critical on that journey.
Yeah.
If you're using assistance, like Sequoia is really, really important. And so what a terrible thing to miss, for your wife, and God love her. Man, she is nothing but persistent.
Yeah.
if nothing else, we know she's persistent. So good for her. Mm-hmm. What are you looking for from the partners who are part of Life's Copilot? So organizations such as Joy's House, like what can we do to be a bigger part?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for being part of our original founding membership of Life's Copilot. We, as you and I know, but no one else knows, is when we first started happening this, it started off with coffee. I was out calling on different professionals and asking questions about caring transitions, but I was talking about my frustrations of what I had found all these wonderful people that I didn't know about. Why didn't we know about this? How do we get people to know about it sooner?
Yes.
So I found out that you and many others had the same frustrations and concerns. So we had a whiteboarding session where we brought about, I don't know, more than a dozen, maybe 18 people came in of different crosses this thing and whiteboarded, what could we do? How can we get a place? And it was all your collective brain that helped us do this. Okay. That's like, here's where this resource is. And I think that for me, one of the things that made it sing home was there was an article in all the news media promoted it a little while back. And it was not a local news story, but it was salacious, so it got a lot of attention. It was an elderly couple that committed suicide because they were overwhelmed with medical bills or what have you. And it was so frustrating because I'm going, there's no need for that to happen. I understand their feelings, but there are so many resources and so many people there to help. The problem we have is not the lack of resources. We lack knowledge of resources or how to access them. And that's what right. We as a collective, and I want my members to put Life's Copilot on their websites or what have you, so no matter where someone stumbles into the senior world, they can find all of it.
Yes. You're hearing the voice of Jim Morgan. Jim is the Vice President of Sales at Remax Ability Plus, Director of Outreach for Caring Transitions, as well as with Life's Copilot. And we're talking today about Life's Copilot. I have to tell you, Terry Stacy is my co-host on the podcast, and I know she's going to be sad that she missed this, but trust me, she'll be following up with you because you're right. We just have to continue to get the word out about, what we're doing. What do you see as the future for Life's Copilot?
Well, the idea is I want it to be a place where, in my mind, the daughter living in Dallas and has a mom in, Carmel, Indiana that needs to figure out how to figure all this whole world out can go in there and get information. Yeah. I want it to be, it's starting off pretty much in Indianapolis because that's where we are, but it's going to, go across the state and across the country. We want no borders to this. We want to help people. Everyone has these same issues. That's
right. Well, and, you and I have talked a lot too. Joyce House is working on this caregiver village. And I think, Jim, that's a conversation we'll have outside of the podcast, but I think we're headed for some really big things, and it's time. And, this time of COVID, as much as there are negative things to it, there are positives. And one of them is look at what you and others are doing during this time to reach out and better help, aging adults and those who are caring for them. So really love what you're doing. Tell me, before we have to let you go, first of all, where can people find Life's Copilot?
It's lifescopilot.com. So it's an easy, it's easy.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And when you lay down at night and you're thinking about the work that you're doing for Life's Copilot, because you're doing other great things too, but when you think about Life's Copilot, what is it that gives you those warm fuzzies?
If I can help families not go through what I went through, if I can help families not have those news stories, if I can help, get the deer out of the headlight look out of people's eyes so they can actually be family members rather than panic trying to figure out how to fix an emergency so we can get ahead of the emergencies, that would make everything perfect.
Yeah, I love that answer. And, that is a big thing that I feel like is a common theme, helping people get ahead so we're not just being reactive in emergent times. And I know that's hard, right? Right. Comes on suddenly most of the time and it's hard, but I'm grateful for the work you're doing with all of your businesses, Jim. I don't know how you do it, but I'm really grateful for your care of this industry and what you're doing with Life's Copilot. So lifescopilot.com, you can get all the information you need there. If I'm telling you what, you'll probably get an answer from Jim himself. So he's got a great team, but really grateful for what you're doing. So keep up.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Lifescopilot.com. We've been talking with Jim Morgan, and we will be back next weekend here in Caregiver Crossing. Until then, take good care of each other.